Hello, gorgeous. It's Shauna Allen with the Tara Molina Real Estate Group. I'm here today at client's home with Paul Challen from PMC Plumbing in Airdrie. And he's here today to do a quote for our clients as they currently have poly B in their home, which is something that we do find from time to time with agents. So just wanted to introduce Paul and also maybe ask him a few questions while we're here today. So like I said, we do run into poly B in people's homes. I understand poly B was used from the early 1980s to around 2000s. And can you just kind of tell me about some of the things that you can tell us what to look out for with the poly B, and some things the homeowners should know?
Yeah, for sure. Poly B was a product that we used quite a bit back in the late 80s, right up until the late 1990s, 2000. The biggest thing that we find with it is if it was exposed to the UV when it was outside, that's one of the biggest causes of the breakdown of the pipe. However, the other thing that can do it is just wear and tear over time as the lines, and it usually happens on your hot lines. They expand and contract, and over time that expansion and contraction actually causes leaks because the pipe gets brittle and it cracks. So like this is all the poly B up here. In Canada, we were actually a little bit better off because a lot of times we actually used copper fittings, whereas in the States they were actually a plastic fitting made from the same material that would just crack and break and flush everything everywhere. So we have had a longer lifespan with poly B than a lot of places in the US did. Plus we don't have the same kind of hot temperatures that they have. So those things have all affected how it lasted longer in Canada than it did in the US.
Right. So you'd highly recommend for someone who has poly B to have it looked at and most likely replace it?
For sure, at this point, it's definitely worth replacing because what we find a lot of times is even if you haven't had a leak, when we actually start ripping out all your poly B, 9 times out of 10 I can show you places where the water has actually started to almost burst through. It's a buildup of calcium on the outside of the pipe, and 9 times out of 10 I can show you that in every house that we do replacements on.
Right.
And on average I do probably 15 to 20 replacements a year.
Okay. And if someone does have poly B within their home but doesn't want to replace it right at this time, is there something they can do for preventative measurements or just like regular testing or something you guys provide?
Yeah, there's one thing that we can do. We can put a mainline shut off on your house, and basically what it does is it learns the technology of when your water would normally be running and when it wouldn't, and if it detects something of a sudden burst or whatever, that would automatically shut off your water, and it would send a message to your phone saying, hey, you've got a burst pipe, this is something that you should look into. And you can't actually reset that valve until you come home and physically make sure there's no water damage and physically turn it back on.
Interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, they're made by Moen, so yeah. And there's a couple other brands out there.
But interesting. Okay, well that's awesome information. Thanks so much, Paul. And if you have poly B or have any plumbing questions or anything in your home, water related, hot water tanks, furnace, that type of thing, reach out to Paul at PMC Plumbing. And I hope you have a great day.
Great. Thanks for your time.